Ever feel like raising a kid who's, well, let's just say, a little too creative with the truth?
Yeah, teaching kids about honesty. It's right up there with, I don't know, potty training and getting them to eat their vegetables, right?
It's a big one for sure. And it's something so many of our listeners ask about, so we're diving deep into it today. We've got 5 evidence-based tips to make honesty more than just a lecture, but a value that actually sticks.
Exactly. Because we're going for real world strategies here, not just theory.
Absolutely. So let's jump right in. The first tip is model honest behavior. I mean, on the surface, that seems pretty straightforward, but what does that actually look like day to day?
Well, it's about understanding that our kids are always watching, even when we don't realize it.
Oh, they're
They're
watching.
like little sponges soaking up everything they see.
Yeah,
So it's not about being perfect parents, because none of us are,
definitely not.
but it's about being honest about our own mistakes.
Right.
When we mess up, which we all do, we need to own it.
Right.
That shows our kids that honesty isn't about being perfect, it's about taking responsibility.
It's funny you should say that. Just the other day, I accidentally shrunk my favorite sweater in the dryer. And of course, my first instinct was to blame it on the dryer itself.
The dryer always gets blamed.
Oh, it's the worst, right? But you know who called me out on it? My 6-year-old daughter.
Oh
She
no.
was like, Mom, I saw you put that in there on high heat. I was mortified. But it was also a powerful reminder that they really do see everything.
They miss nothing.
Which leads us perfectly to our next tip: praise honesty. And look, I'm all about positive reinforcement, but there's a difference between just saying good job and actually praising honesty in a way that resonates with the kid, right?
Right. We need to be specific with our praise.
Specific,
Yeah,
yeah.
so instead of a general good job, let's say your child admits to breaking a vase, even though they're terrified of being punished. Instead of just saying good job, you could say, I really appreciate that you told me the truth about the vase, even though it was hard. That took a lot of courage.
Highlighting the positive impact of their honesty helps them see it as a strength.
It's like giving them the language for their own internal moral compass.
I like that. Okay, up next we have discuss the importance of honesty. Now, I don't know about you, but if I sit my kids down for an honesty lecture, their eyes glaze over faster than you can say, once upon a time. So how do we make this engaging for them?
This is where storytelling can be so powerful. Instead of lecturing, try engaging them in a conversation about why honesty matters. You could say, remember the story of the boy who cried wolf? He kept lying, and in the end, no one believed him, even when he needed help. These kinds of stories, they make the consequences of dishonesty real for kids in a way they can understand.
It's amazing how those classic stories, they still hold up.
They really do.
Speaking of creating a safe space for these open conversations, that's actually our next tip. Create a safe environment. Now, does this mean no consequences when kids aren't honest?
Not at all. It's about striking a balance. We want to create an environment where kids feel safe admitting their mistakes without being afraid of harsh punishment. So instead of yelling or lecturing when they mess up, try a calmer approach, one that focuses on understanding why they felt the need to lie and what they can do to make amends.
So it's not about letting them off the hook. It's about teaching them that owning up to their mistakes is always better than hiding from them.
Exactly.
And finally, we have use stories to illustrate honesty, which seems like a natural progression from what we were just talking about.
It really is. Stories are such powerful tools for teaching, especially abstract ideas like honesty. Think about fairy tales, like Pinocchio is a classic example. It makes dishonesty really tangible with the whole growing nose thing. That imagery can really stick with kids.
Kids love that kind of thing.
Exactly, and it helps them grasp the importance of honesty from a really young age.
So it seems like the common thread running through all of these tips is that teaching honesty, it's not a one-time conversation, right? It's an ongoing process.
Absolutely. It's about weaving these conversations and these values into your everyday interactions. But as you do that, here's something to keep in mind. We've talked a lot about teaching honesty, but what about fostering a love of honesty? How do we help our kids not just know that honesty is important, but really believe in it? I think it's about helping them understand the why. Why is honesty essential? Not just for them personally, but for building trust in their relationships and in the world around them. I think that's a powerful motivator for all of us.
Food for thought for all of us parents out there as we navigate this wild ride of raising honest little humans.
That's for sure.
Thanks for listening, everyone.